Welcome back to the Writing Engineer. So, I've been working on the third book in my series, Mars Law, and I've been writing it and it's kind of getting stupid. So, today on the Writing Engineer, when to blow up your story. So what's been happening is I'm what's typically referred to as an outliner. I like to outline my stories, make sure I have a structure in place that I can follow. I don't go into insane detail like some authors. But I do tend to at least hit most of the story beats in my story to go as a logical progression from beginning to end. Or end to beginning, as it might be. That'll be for a future video. Anyway, I like to have all of my story beats in place so I can go from one to the next to the next. And I noticed that as I was writing my third book, which I had already planned out. I knew the beginning, I knew the end, I knew all the bits in the middle, and I had a logical progression going from the beginning to the end. And I noticed that by the time I got to chapter 3, out of like 18 chapters, I was already getting bogged down on stuff that was just like stupid stuff. And so I continued trying to push through and continued trying to follow what I had. And I finally reached almost the end of the chapter, and I'm like, this is just not working. I don't know what the deal is, but it's just not working. So what I did is I threw out my outline. It was not working. But I didn't throw out the beginning and the end. The beginning I couldn't really throw out because the beginning needs to be a segue from my second book into my third book. It had to be kind of that way that I have it. The ending is the ending that I want. It might not be the ending that I get, because the ending of my first book, I had something that I wanted, and that's not what happened at the end of my story. It didn't feel right to have the ending of my original story, so I came up with the ending that I currently have. But it started, when I was writing, it didn't feel like the story that I should be writing. That should be the end of the story. It felt like I was explaining too much. I wasn't getting enough action in there. The characters weren't doing anything. So I went back all the way to my plotting worksheet, which I had. And I took extreme detail when I did my plotting worksheet. And I read through it. And as I read through it, I got this feeling like inside me that as though I was watching an exciting movie. I was like, I couldn't wait to write this story. This was going to be awesome and epic. And then I realized my outline was not reflecting what was in my plotting worksheet. So I went back and looked at my plotting worksheet side by side with the outline that I currently had, and knowing what I wanted to have happen at the beginning of the story and the end of the story. And so I continued, I didn't continue, I threw out a whole bunch of stuff that I had put in the original outline as either unnecessary or very slow moving. It might be necessary information, but I had to figure out a better way to get that information into the story in a more fulfilling way. So I ended up rewriting the entire outline from chapter 1 to almost chapter 11. And that's a really large chunk of the story that I basically just axed and threw out. With outliners, I get the feeling that a lot of people outline and they stick to it. And I feel that at some point, if the story is just not working for you, if it's getting bogged down in itself, if the story is getting in its own way, sometimes you just have to hit that plunger and blow it up. Well, that's another update from the writing world of Andrew Griffin. I hope you enjoyed it, and the individual pictures and bits of film that I tossed in here. If you did enjoy today's topic, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down and let me know what you thought I did wrong. Anyway, I hope everyone is getting along okay and that everyone is staying safe and healthy. Keep up the good writing, keep up the good work, and keep on hoping. We got to keep a little bit of hope and faith in these times. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.